I want to present 5 provocative thoughts, 5 things that bother me, the first of which being we are doing Scrum, so we're agile, and that's most probably wrong. To cite Martin Fowler, you cannot be agile just with Scrum. Being agile means to be able to change almost everything at any time without risk of a nervous or system or project breakdown. And if you don't have the agile development and management practices in place that make that possible, if you don't have automated tests on various levels, an emergent architecture, joint code ownership in your team, and so on, you cannot be agile. The basic Scrum framework only shows you the pain very quickly. It does not tell you how to practically solve your problems. Next one. In Scrum, we plan for the next sprints, not for a future far away, and that's probably also wrong. Agile is not about not having plans, it's about having plans and being able to change and adapt those plans whenever it's necessary. If you don't have a big picture plan, you don't know where you're going, and in most cases, that's a problem. To cite Jeff Patton, a guy I admire very much, look mile wide and inch deep. If you don't have an inch deep plan for the next 6 months, you're losing perspective, and that's most probably a problem. Jeff Patton's book was outside on the media table. Someone took it away. Please, could you maybe just put it back until the end of the conference so that we can have a look at it? It's titled User Story Mapping by O'Reilly. I think it's one of the must-reads. Check it out. Speaking of user stories, the common requirement engineering entity in Scrum is the user story. So it's as A, I want to B in order to C, and that's probably wrong. A user story is that plus the conversation between business and development revolving around that, okay, plus all the things you sketch out on the whiteboard, plus user acceptance criteria, detailing all of that. And if you have a Jira backlog with 50 issues, just like that, and without those things I mentioned, you're in deep trouble. Believe me, I've been there. 4. Scrum means we iteratively and incrementally build a complex system. I think that's wrong. Maybe surprisingly. There's a lot of talk about complexity in the agile universe, but it is not the system that is to be complex. In my view, it is the problem space that is complex. That might most probably mean that your system will be complex too, but if in any case possible, your system should not be complex. To cite Martin Fowler again, you ain't gonna need it, Yagni. There's an excellent blog post by Fowler about Yagni. Check it out, it's really cool. If you build something into your system about which you are not 200% sure that your user will have immediate value out of it, you probably just should not build it. And I think that's a real problem because for developers, I think, in my view, I'm not a developer, I think it is way less fun to think and work by that principle. But that is what Agile and Scrum are about, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. And last but not least, a misconception in many, many cases is we are doing Kanban. Because I've seen a few software development Kanban implementations, and none of them were really Kanban. If you pull tickets across a board and have WIP limits, that's good, but it's not Kanban yet. Unless you measure and analyze lead and cycle times, arrival rates, outlier rates, unless you manage flow with a scientific approach, unless you collaboratively and explicitly strive for evolutionary change that meets acts of leadership by each and everyone on every level, unless you have a continuous string of defined experiments to improve your process and your performance, you're not doing Kanban. So what? Please don't get me wrong. Whatever you do, if it works for you, that's great. That's just it. Who is this guy anyway on stage ranting? Agile and Lean are not religions you have to follow for a higher reason. That's why the term evangelist is probably really stupid. You can do whatever you like, of course, but Scrum and Kanban are two powerful methodologies, I think, and in my heart, I feel that they deserve that we have a proper go at them. Thank you very much.